To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Syed Muhammad Ayub Shah, who is of course commentator on international affairs and senior analyst. Welcome to the program. How do you categorize this statement and how significant is this for Pakistan's global stance specifically on Kashmir issue?
Thank you very much for the question, ma'am. Of course, Pakistan is a peace-loving country. Pakistan promotes democracy. And exactly opposite is the Indian, which has a history of denying human rights to the people in Kashmir, forcefully occupying the Kashmiri territory against the will of the people of the Kashmir, as well as will of the people of the world, and total denial of the United Nations Security Council resolutions upon Kashmir. So they are refusing to hold a plebiscite, and their recent move by abrogating their article on Kashmir and changing the status of the Kashmir from a state to a union territory is totally unlawful as far as the international law is concerned. And there is no difference between the cause that the Pakistan pursues for the Kashmir and the cause that the Pakistan pursues for the Palestine. Palestine people are again under occupation. West Bank is a totally occupied territory. They were reduced to the Gaza Strip. And again, not only reduced, recent aggression is totally inhuman, excessive of any definition of the right of self-defense. It has totally caused a mayhem to the Gaza people, to the Palestinian people. Killing of the women and children are by no means a human action or a self-defense action or an action by a legitimate state. They have proved their illegitimacy, they proved their the wrongness of the claim on the Palestine. Their occupation of the Palestine being totally against the will of the people of the world who aspire peace and democracy around the world. Right. And same is the case of the Kashmir. So there's a big similarity between Palestinian cause and the Kashmiri cause.
Right, radicalization of the Muslims as well as Islamophobia plays a role when we talk about the implementation strategies of both the countries and both the leaders, Modi and Mr. Netanyahu, in their respective countries, and how this is of course shifting the social fabric of both the countries as well.
Yes, unfortunately, both the leaders they have taken up genocide as an instrument of implementation of their policies. Narendra Modi has a history of genocide in Gujarat. He is totally alienating Muslims in India. He is also alienating other nationalities, and they themselves are suffering because of this. But unfortunately, Modi is not realizing, and the same plea has been taken up. It's both vice versa. Has been taken up by the Mr. Netanyahu, who is now embarked upon genocide of the innocent Palestinians. He is using force, unstoppably against the armless people, against the harmless people rather. This theme is common between both the two leaders, who think that the genocide is the only solution, exclusion is the only solution, alienation of the Muslims populations is the only solution for furthering with their own ambitions. But this will not work in the long run, and they're exposing their own selves. And now it's well exposed right. To the world that they are the people not for the democracy, not for the humanity, not for the peace, rather for the belligerence, and violence.
Of course, is needed. Of course, moving forward, what other potential areas or avenues of cooperation you see emerging after this important visit of Chief of Army Staff to Washington?
Yes, United States is a very important stakeholder as far as the global economy is concerned, and as far as the Pakistan's economy is also concerned, because we have a huge, about more than 25% exports going to the US, they're destined there. And then we have a very potentially sound and intellectually sound also diaspora residing in the US, who can play their role to bring up the national economy of Pakistan. The engagement of all these stakeholders, both the industry as well as diaspora as well as other avenues by the Chief of Army Staff, highlighting the role of SIFC is a worth praising step, and that is likely to yield its own benefits. US can play its role many folds, in other areas also. Peace is a prerequisite for the economic growth of the world. And peace is also a prerequisite for the growth of the Pakistan in the modern days to come. So US can help us both in maintenance of peace, engaging the Afghan government from a third dimension, as discussed earlier, and as well as making the environment conducive when it comes to the Middle East and other regions are concerned for the Pakistan,
Right.
and helping Pakistan to promote its exports.
Right. Dr. Sen, these
Closing
are
Pakistan
key
to the
factors.
bottom of.
Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Dr. Sen Javed, thank you very much for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Sayyid Muhammad Ayub Shah, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharyar Khan, for joining us in today's program. Of course, in today's program, we discussed about important dynamic shift in the globe, and these are significant, and of course about the significant visit of Chief of Army Staff to Washington as well. Both countries agreed to explore avenues of cooperation for shared, of course, interest and benefit. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care. Allah Hafiz.